But one of the things that I want to talk about is why are we as a society drawn to figures like Adam? How did he allow toxic masculinity, for lack of a better word, to define and eventually destroy the company that he built?
It's funny because I'm not a magician, but I do a lot of magic tricks because I made a movie about magicians. I do magic very well, and I know a lot about it. I spent 10 years with magicians, and I somehow did not realize that Adam was a magician. He was showing one thing and then doing another. When
Mm.
we see a magic trick, we know that's happening, and that's sort of the game. Is like we say, okay, we're going to play this game where you're going to do something and you're going to trick me, and that's okay because it's going to be fun. This trick, nobody knew we were involved with. Nobody sort of said, okay, do you want to see a magic trick?
Right.
WeWork! It wasn't like that. It was like, oh,
Ta-da!
yeah. So, but I didn't see it. So the work I do now, I'm a visiting scholar at the Peace Innovation Lab at Stanford, and I'm really interested in masculinity, and I'm really interested in how we go from, well, what is it about the kind of masculinity that's showing up right now? And some people call it toxic, and I get that, but really it's immature masculinity.
Mhm.
It's a masculinity that's all about charm. And charm or charming means seeming as if blessed by God. But inspiring is in the breath of God.
Mm.
And the question I ask is like, why are we falling for all of these charming boy kings rather than waiting around to be inspired? It doesn't matter if it's men or women, inspired by leaders who are in the breath of God. They really have a vision that's amazing, and that they're bringing us all with them. And in the breath of God means connected to everyone for the greatest good of everyone. I sit here with an iPhone, and like Steve Jobs started this shit. He's the first boy king. I mean, there are many before
Talk
him, but
about
like
toxic, yeah.
the stuff that he's left us is so toxic.
Hmm.
And for some reason, we decided to put him up on this huge pedestal and think it's okay to act crazy and like a, and to be mean to people and all this kind of stuff, and to act like a petulant child because, well, you're brilliant,
Yeah.
and it's like, I think that's nonsense. That being said, I really don't appreciate this. And
Mm.
I made the mistake of talking to the writer of this, and I was really hoping that the writer of this was going to tell a story about Adam that's not about Adam, but it's about who are we? What is it about us that we are promoting boy kings? What
Yeah.
is it about us that is promoting that is so we're such a quick, we need such a quick fix that charming is good enough? Why can't we wait for inspiring? What is it about us? However, billion-dollar loser,
Man.
that's fucking toxic. Like, that's a
That's
mean, nasty thing to say.
capitalizing on this already completely flawed and destructive notion of believing in the boy king. So now we're going to sensationalize the fall of it, and nobody learns a fucking thing. I mean,
No,
that's
nobody
the
learns a
problem.
fucking thing. And it's just so sad because I talked with Reeves, and I really thought that we were connecting on how this is really a story about masculinity, and how we need to promote a new kind of mature masculinity, how we need to invite a new masculinity to the stage. And that doesn't mean men. That means the masculine, which is a whole.
Hmm.
I mean, I run men's circles specifically because I'm trying to bring myself and other men through the long, dark night of the soul to become wise men, to become men of service.
Right.
And no, I don't think Adam is a man of service. However, there's no reason to say nasty things about him. It's much more interesting to me to say, well, what can we learn from this? What can we learn about ourselves from this story? And I'm sad that I in any way supported this book, because
Yeah.
I don't understand why billion-dollar loser is just so nasty.
Yeah,
such a
man.
nasty thing to say.
It is.
And it makes me so sad, because you don't fight toxicity with toxicity. You don't fight toxins with toxins.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
transmute toxins, and that's not what's happening here.
Yeah. Man, I'm sorry that you were Rita Skeeter. I don't know. I'm just reading Harry Potter to my son. And Rita Skeeter is the name of that reporter who's always screwing people over. And I'm like, he's only 9. But I'm like, do you see how reporters are? Do you see? I think it goes well with my shirt. Anyway, so it's fascinating, the transformation of the alpha male and how we've gone from John Wayne and Schwarzenegger and Stallone to kind of like the Revenge of the Nerds era, and Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Zuckerberg. Not that one is better than the other, but when bullies rise to power, they tend to bring a lot of the sociopathy and trauma with them. I mean, we know what happens to kids who are bullied too much. You could Google the Columbine shootings and find out exactly what happens to kids who go off the hinge from being bullied too much. And some of these kids who were bullied are in very large positions of power right now. And it's a scary thing, and even though they may think that they have refined themselves and healed because they have everything you can imagine in the material world, it doesn't mean that they have. And that some of their actions, I think, speak loud and clear to that. But Adam wanted to, and he strived to be one of these new alpha males, as I understand the situation. So I think that the archetypes in our society need to transform. And Ted, I really enjoyed what you said about Adam and about that nasty book cover and the problem with that. And, so thank you for sharing all that.
And let me be clear, because I also want to make sure that I'm not being nasty to Reeves now, the writer, and sending toxin towards him. I'm upset. I'm definitely upset, and I'm voicing my upset. And I wouldn't be surprised if, first, I haven't read the book. I am literally judging the book by its cover, and I wouldn't be surprised if he wanted a different title and he was pushed by the corporate machine to have to come up with that title. And, otherwise, I have no idea. We don't know what's the behind the scenes. I just think it's a sad state of affairs that once again, we're weaponizing gossip.